Hey guys, Frank, your general virtual aviator, your, your virtual general aviation aviator, VAG. Well, you get it. Okay, so you're, I have to look at my name to remember how it's said. That's a crying shame. Your virtual general aviation aviator. There you go. And I didn't look at it. All right, so today I am in the Kodiak Quest, and this is the quest. The quest is a bush plane, and let me turn off the labels on Traffic Global. The quest is a bush plane, which is really and truthfully a low and slow bush plane. But what makes it so incredible? Cool. Check it out. Um, Somebody's taking off. What makes it so incredible is that it has a a an incredible useful payload for its size. So this bush plane can carry a useful payload of 3,500 pounds, which is quite a payload. Um, I particularly like the livery on this. I tend to be conservative, so those liveries that stand out, I tend to avoid. And something similar and elegant is generally what I like. Muted tones and that kind of stuff. The Kodiak is made by a company called Quest. And right now, I think the Kodiak is their one and only offering in terms of aircraft that I know of. But the Kodiak um, is about 10, is about a decade in production. So uh, it has been being upgraded and updated over the the period of time. This particular model here comes with the G100 aviation suite, which we'll take a look at just a minute. Now, this rendition is made by Thronda, and Thronda is a commercial developer. I think Thronda has three or four aircrafts out on the xplane.org store. But one of the things that he has done is made the Quest a really good airplane for for flying. Great flight dynamics, even though there's a SimCoder's rep pack that is available. I opted not to get the sim pack. Um, the rep pack is actually supposed to make the airplane more um, well simulate the wear and tear on the aircraft, so it helps the aircraft remember to state how much wear and tear you have on it, that kind of stuff, which is really cool. A lot of people think that sim coders actually go in and reprogram a lot of the stuff that the developers do, and that's not sim coders' job. Um, so one of the things about this now, the Quest is a turbocharged aircraft. Now, for a turbocharged aircraft, well, it sports the PT6, and my research of the PT6 has revealed that it comes in basically three different sizes: small, medium, and large. And the Kodiak actually uses the medium PT6. And I did not make a note of the trailing model number, which uniquely identify the engine for this particular aircraft. Um, but suffice it to say that it does not have the large PT6 engine that you would find in, say, the Pilatus PC-12. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get into the cockpit and get this bad boy started. And like I said, we are going through the checklist. Now, the checklist is offline, so I am going to be referring to paper. I could not find the C list checklist, and quite frankly, when I do use the C list checklist and explain, the writing is generally so small that you can't really read along with it anyway. But still, um, I still preference using the C list checklist over the paper. Okay, pre-flight, before starting the engine, pre-flight inspection, weight and balance checks complete. Well, let's go ahead and do a weight and balance. Weight and balance. And it's just going to be me today. So what I want to do is make sure that all of these seats are saying 0. And I don't know why they saying by default when you load this guy up, it's got like 11 pounds in the back seats and 49 pounds for the pilot. Um, but it's got me at double clicking it changes it to 200 pounds and not quite that heavy yet. Um, with the with being quarantined, I may find myself there. I'm about 165, somewhere there about. Okay, and um, and okay, so weight and balance check, passenger briefing, no passengers, cabin doors, and let's check all our cabin doors. Okay, cabin doors. Okay, um, so I got the cargo pod on this model. Incidentally, let me just pop out for a second. The cargo pod can be turned off and on in the Thunder model. So if you don't like the aircraft looking like it's pregnant, it's gonna have a little quest. If you don't like it looking like it's pregnant, then you can let it go ahead and birth its baby. No, I'm just joking. But you can turn off the cargo pod. Um, the in my opinion, the whole purpose of having the Quest would be to have the cargo pod, um, because of that 3,500 pound useful load. Um, if you carry in six, let's say 10 people, and let's say I don't recall how many seats you can get in, but let's say you can carry 8 people and eight. Well, let's see. I don't know if you can carry 8 people. Um, Let me general. Let's see, livery and liveries don't help. Let's just get in and let's look in the back here. And let's see. I think I got a key there were some keys that are predefined, and there we go. So I got 2, 4, 6 people in this one. So if I had 6 people at 200, 6 times 2 is 1,200 pounds, right? And I've got, let's see, and with 4 tanks of gas, let's see what. what I can do with 4 tanks of gas here. Um, and I'm doing all this to learn myself. So bear with me. Let's see. I want to take the gas up. Is there a quicker way to do this than to use the strobe? Um, okay, 162. So that's well, just the gas alone can give me 2,200 pounds plus my 1,200. So um, I guess with 6 passengers, then that would pretty much um, max out. I get your useful load pretty close. Um, but I really am not 100% sure that besides right now I am way outside of the weight and see. Okay, wait a minute. Those were people I was changing. Man, see. I want to go back to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. See. All right. Let's say I got 2 kids in the back at around 100 pounds apiece. Um, two and hmm. Now I'm outside of my CG, so I could adjust the fuel to try and get back. Well, I'm not going to get back in my. Oh, it didn't like that, did it? So, again, this is my first time messing with this guy, but I'm just going to get rid of all the people in the seats and see if I can't get my nose to come down. All right, so let me just get rid of the pod and put it back on. Maybe that'll do it. Nope. Now how am I going? I apparently put too much weight on the back of the aircraft. And let's see if I put all this weight back in the front seat. See, it'll only let me put 350 pounds into each seat. All right. That's what it took. All right. So it's just going to be me. And I got 162 gallons or 4 tanks in each wing. Um, and I think I am going to use 4 tanks just to simulate the weight so that I can become more familiar with getting it off the ground with a heavier load. So that's about 1100. That's 2200 times two. 20 well 1100 times two is 2200 because I'm rounding the 1089 to 11 and 200 for me, which again, um, just approximate my weight a little bit. Ah, shoot, I'm in the wrong seat. Well, 6 pounds in the seat behind me might have some luggage, some cameras or something. Um, but back to 165. Okay. All right. So that's my weight and balance. All right, weight and balance check. Passenger briefing can check. Complete. Cabin doors latched and all seat belts and shoulder harnesses adjusted and secure. Then I got a warning. Failure to ensure seats are securely locked in the seat tracks could cause serious injury or death. Okay. That's not going to be an issue. Master switch. All right, so we'll jump in. All right, so master comes on, master battery, and looks like that wakes up my avionics. It shouldn't have. Perhaps my avionics switches should have been off, and but they won't. Okay, so let's start again. All right, master comes on, and that wakes up that GPS there. Looks like the one wakes up the PFD, and the MFD is looks like it won't wake up until I turn on the avionics. Okay, master switch. Avionics switches come on. Okay, parking brake is set. Now this is the parking brake here, and it's kind of hard to see it because the dash is black and the handle is black and black blends. Okay, engine inlet. Okay, engine inlet as required. I'm not sure what the engine inlet is. So we just look around the dash and see if we see anything that might say engine inlet. The fuses are not modeled, so I know I don't have to worry about those. Um, Engine inlet, and I know that my gas levers are at the top. I'll show them to you right quick since I mentioned them. Okay, gas. Okay, but I'm not there yet. And engine inlet as required. So um, as I as I fly this plane and study it, then more will be revealed. Okay, so I see the word engine here. I see the word engine, and I lost the word engine right here. Okay, so this lever is in my way, and that's just the engine hobs and for um, for the well, that's ELT oxygen hobs. Uh, and it has two hobs meter. One shows the the engine being on, and I think the other shows the engine in, let's say, in flight. Oh, shucks. I know what Hobbs meters do. Why am I having trouble with them? Just one of those days. But anyway, you get the idea. Okay, so we're gonna keep moving. Okay, now this other may help me with the engine inlet because it says note select bypass if visible moisture is present and outside air temperature is less than 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, so why is my button up? Okay, there we go. Okay, so the outside air temperature is on this guy, and One thing about glass displays in the sim for me, uh, they can be hard to read. Okay, so, and I'm still getting used to the Garmin glass cockpit. So finding where things are can be okay. Outside L is 23 Celsius. Finding where things are can still having to hunt. Okay, field selective valves, right and left, come on. I can handle that really easily. Firewall, field shut off, push in. Okay, firewall, field shut off, and push in. Firewall, field shut off. It's right here on the on the co-pilot side. Push in. Okay. Firewall, field shut off, field on, pushed in. Okay. All right. So we pushed that in. I had no idea it was out, and I had been able to crank this plane. Um, okay. Power lever, which is the condition lever. Okay. And that would be this one. And it goes to idle. Prop is goes to feather. Okay. And condition is cut off. Let's see, I have to move the prop out the way to see cut off. And now I'm gonna move all these forward because I'm looking for the words cut off. I don't see it, but generally speaking, cut off is generally on the condition just below low idle. Okay, wings flaps should be up. Okay, so flaps. Okay, that's on my P on this guy here. And let's zoom in. Hey, Melvin Leroy, how are you doing, my friend? Howdy. Yep, that's my signature greeting. I'm in the Kodiak, so I'm going through the checklist. Pretty much first time going through the checklist. So I'm having to hunt for and find stuff, and I'm going actually through the paper checklist. So, so yeah, moving on around. Yeah, um, I've jumped in it and with the engines running and took it around the pattern a couple of times, and it does seem nice and responsive. I like it too. Haven't quite developed the love affair with it yet, but I believe I can get there. I've been back and forth with Nojo, the Thronder developer, and he seems to be really excited about this aircraft and really supports it. So um, I think I'm gonna love it too eventually. All right. So you're flying tonight? So my flaps are up, circuit breakers are in, they're not modeled, cabin heat goes off. Okay. No stream. Okay. Yep, I get it. I get it. The I don't stream as much as I should because cabin heat. I guess this is this guy here. Um, oh no, those are interior panel lights. Um, ice protection, heat. What would I find the heating elements for this aircraft? Um, yeah, I have to admire you guys because streaming and flying is already a lot of work, and flying and holding conversations with multiple people, that's a lot of work, and it's probably more work than I might ever want to do. Um, but I do like streaming, even though it is somewhere, since my channel's so light, then it's really no problem at all for me. Cabin heat. Okay, so environmental stuff look like it. I see oxygen, firewall, firewall shut off valve. And I found that one. I did not see that one. I wonder, I guess they are. When I pushed it in, I may have pushed, it may have been referring to this one, but there are two that I didn't realize that are on here. Cabin heat. Do you know what a cabin heat on this guy is at? Oxygen, and some things I'm just having to kind of gloss over if I don't see them. I realize that that I'm trying to get Nojo. I'm hoping I can persuade him to work on the PDF in this guy because I had to during this time trying to figure out how to turn the sync vision off, and it's actually over here in the settings as opposed to being in the in this guy here, and I'm hoping I can persuade him to rework that and put it where it should be. Um, when I say I don't mean I alone, but part as part of the community. Okay, surface ice protection, P-top heat. All right, so we are going to skip cabin heat. Um, I know that this aircraft does not have air conditioning, even though you can get some variants with air conditioning. But yeah, it would be if we can get them to do that. Um, and plus, the sync vision is not the true sync vision. It's just what you're seeing out the window, rebroadcast to to the PDF. Okay, my friend, I do appreciate you stopping by, and I appreciate you saying hello. I really do, and I catch you on the rebound. Okay, so takeoff torque limiter off. Determine for maximum torque takeoff sheet. Okay, I did not print that sheet, so I'm gonna skip over that. And autopilot, if equipped, perform pre-flight check. Okay, this one does have the autopilot installed, and perform pre-flight check for autopilot. I don't quite know what that means. Um, Short field, en route climb, landing, after landing, um, emergency procedures, emergency landing, flame out, fire during start. Okay, so don't have it there. And I wonder if there's a test button for the autopilot. Head and nav, approach, reverse, altitude, and vertical speed. And so I don't see anything, so I'm gonna skip over that. All right, so now we are ready to start this guy up. Okay, battery powered start. Um, Bus voltage, check that it's greater than 24. I'm down to 22.4, so my voltage is a little low, but still think I might be able to get a good start because I don't know if this has a GPU, has the ability to be started via GPU. Um, Mode realistic, window reflections, panel, startup, engine, and let me turn startup running on to off. Okay. Um, and uh, there we go. Okay. Let's see. And that what that did is put my covers back on it. So I have to take those back off. Livery, weight, and balance. Doesn't show anything. Audio and slew, miscellaneous. Tire skis, cargo, interior, anti-ice, equip, equal yes. And so I don't see um, any way to start a GPU. So, but I think even at 22, I think we can probably get a good start. Okay, flash and beacon comes on, and beacon comes on. And let's clear the prop area. I don't see anybody out there. I'm at KRDU, by the way. Prop clear. No, nobody would hear that. Prop clear. All right. Or some people holler clear, some people holler prop clear, and some people holler clear prop. Okay. All right. Auxiliary pump comes on. And let's see, make sure we got, yeah, auxiliary pump comes on. Ignitions is required on for low motor start and high off for high start. All right, I'm not sure what that means. So this is low motor start, and we'll try a low motor start. All right, and let's okay. NP is up, so let's go ahead and introduce gas. Okay, so I've got my gas. Let's see. Let me just keep going through the checklist. Actually, these turbines are so easy to tear up that I better turn that stuff off. Okay. Okay. As required, on for low motor start. And actually, I'm going to just go ahead and do the high motor start. So, all right. So, what am I getting here? Ignition on. Okay, that's what's coming on. Okay. So, when NG get to 14% minimum, then I can go to low idle on the fuel condition lever, and my fuel burn needs to be between 80 and 110 ITT. Um, no higher than 1090 degrees Celsius and NG 52% minimal. Okay, caution. If the ITT rises towards 190, be prepared to bring the fuel condition level to zero. Oh, I mean to cut off to prevent a hot start. Okay, my prop is still turning, but I'm not sure why. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to watch a couple of things. We want to watch the okay, the oil pressure should be rising now. Let's see. Let me just turn that guy off. Now I got two. Thought I had three positions on this, but I got two positions. Okay, so engine ignition is on. This is the one I got three positions on. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go to high motor start. Watch the NG, and it's already up. Comes up quickly. All right, so we give it fuel, and I really don't think we got enough power in the batteries to get a good start. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. I don't have enough power in the battery to get a good start. And the question becomes, okay, so let's turn these guys off. Now the question becomes, how do I add power to the battery? Okay, so before takeoff, and I couldn't find a way to add a GPU. So let's turn everything off. And yeah, let's turn everything off for a second. And let's look at this guy here and make sure that we don't have anything that says recharge battery. All right. Electric torque is off. Window reflections on. Panel reflections on. Start engine running is off. GPU. Ah, we do have a GPU. Ah, we found it. Okay. So now I've got the GPU on. All right. So I can go back to master on. Avionics bus 1 and 2 can come on. Auxiliary fuel pump can come on. Ignition. Okay, I got my gas on, right? So let's just double check. Nope. Um, that might be why I didn't get a battery start. Okay, but I got a GPU running this time, so I should be good to go. Everything should be heavenly. All right. Let's see. One. All right. So we want to watch this panel here. Get rid of this guy and turn this guy to high. NG is coming up. Okay, introduce fuel. And I am getting a good start. Looks so far. Oil pressure. Where are you? Oil pressure is coming up. ITT is below 10. When I get to 52%, then I want to go to, well, when I get to 52%, then something. Okay, I'm at 55%, so I guess that signifies that I actually have a good start. So I am gonna flip these guys off, and now I can bring my generators. Ah, that was my avionics bus. Okay, generators and alternator can come on. All right, and my failure light should go off. Let's see, let's see. So let's bring this guy on up, see if we can't get some power on that ITT. All right, so we got good torque. And I'm not real sure where these guys should be. Okay, fuel condition level should be goes to low idle. Okay, so low idle. And okay, so that's low idle there, and that's low idle here, and that's idle. Okay, so I'm in idle on the power lever and low idle on the condition. The prop I think is still feathered because I didn't get anything that says move it to anything differently than feather. Depending on which plane that I fly, I got different view buttons that does different things. So I'm always having to hunt. All right, so nevertheless, I got a good start. Okay, engine starter switch goes off, ignition switch is off, and prop goes to max RPM. All right, so that's that blue level, and that goes to max RPM. Instruments, man, talk about can't talk. Ins- engine instruments. Um, check. Okay, torque, ITT, NG, and RPMs, or pressure, and or temperature has come up. Amps look good. I still got that GPU on, so I really need to get rid of that GPU. And that's disconnected now. And my amps are still holding. My volts actually went down from 28 to 23. Let's just double check that. Yep. Okay. So that's good to know when I'm flying. If I see 28 here, then I know that I'm in the air with my GPU on. uh, I don't know how that works if I pull off with it on. Okay. Um, Generator and alternator are on. And for those of you who have just come in, I am going through a paper checklist. I don't have the C-list checklist, so I'm having to do paper. Um, and as you know, um, going through a checklist can be a lot of fun and time consuming. Okay, exterior lights as required, especially when it's your first time going through it. So exterior lights as required. Now I did turn my beacon on before I started, even though I didn't see that in my checklist. And I'm going back to see if there was anything that told me to turn my beacon on before start. Master switch, avionics, parking brake, engine inlet, fuel, so what? Power lever condition, wing flaps, bus emergency prop, engine. Nope. So that need to be. Um, I'm one of those people that if I'm going by checklists, then unless it's an abbreviated checklist, which I suppose this is, then it needs to tell me every little step to take. But okay, so but just out of habit, I think I know to turn my beacon light on. All right, so nav light and taxi light can come alive. Okay. All right. And we are still in engine start. Okay. Cabin heats, ventilation, and defrost as desired. And I still haven't found the cabin heat. If anybody knows where it's at, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Radios and avionics set. Okay, so we do know that that's going to be on our MFD, on our PFD, I mean. And I know a lot of people love glass, and I might would like it more so in real life, but for simming, for me, it's a headache because it's hard to see. Okay, so I thought we was at KRDU. I think the last time I flew this plane, I flew it from KRDU to Greensboro, so it may still be in Greensboro. Nope, it's actually at KRDU. So let's get rid of that. And so where are we? What do you guys want to fly to? Let's see. Let's go to. Let's pull up um, Sky Vector here. And let's go to, well, let's do a flight plan. We'll start at KRDU. That'll center my map there. And let's go, let's go to Charlotte. My daughter lives in Charlotte. So I can go see her. Now I've got this alert area that's in my path, um, which flying through it won't be a problem. I usually will check in by the Liberty um, VOR, and this is the first time I've known it to suggest a route like it just did. But let's fly it. I'm okay with it. Actually, when it's in, when it's like this, let's see, maybe that's, I'm not sure what that means when it's like, okay, that's a route. Um, yeah, let's fly this route. Okay, so let's throw that in our GPS. And so we got Liberty. And okay, and enter that guy. Southeast is correct. And let's just clear Greensboro VOR out. And now we're going to add the intersection magic with a J, with a J. Magic with a J. And technically on the chart is Magic 3, but I don't have Magic, I can't do Magic 3. And then we're going to do Charlotte, and we might even get bold and shoot some sort of approach rather than come in VFR. Um, I usually don't fly approaches because I fly, hit the wrong button, gotta redo that. Because I fly for fun and I just haven't been one of those guys that challenge myself to keep on learning stuff when learning is oftentimes work. And so if I'm flying to let down my hair and enjoy myself, then studying these systems and approaches and charts and learning them is work. And historically, I've just avoided learning, doing the work. Now, what I didn't do was put in my departure airport. I don't really know that that's necessary, but just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in now. Once I get airborne, then it would have turned me to R to the Liberty RDU. And if anybody has left a comment, which I doubt, because my visitors usually don't comment, um, then right now I can't see the chat. So just I did the same thing. I hit every button but the one I'm supposed to hit. Kilo, Romeo, Delta, Uniform, Enter. All right, so I got it all in there. And let's go ahead and make Liberty. Well, actually, let's just clear it. Let's go back, and we'll leave it that way. See if it automatically pick up when we get ready to fly. Okay, so now I can get rid of this chart so I can see my chat. Okay, so I still don't have any comments on chat on the climb out. All right, cool. It's gonna be a minute before I get to the point where I can climb out. All right. Well, maybe not, because I see taxiing coming up. All right. Radios and the avionics, and now I'm ready to taxi. So let me clear left and clear right. All right, and release these brakes and test my brakes, and they are working good. Right brake, left brake. All right, good deal. All right, flight controls. And let's make sure that these are free and correct. Okay, and they feel free and correct. All right, and yep, okay. Flight instruments, another check on those. Make sure that I want to check them while I'm on the ground and make sure I don't have any surprises. I want all my surprises to be on the ground here. Okay, they look good. And so let's taxi. Let's get our ADAS. And Raleigh-Durham 2606. That's gonna be 23. Altimeter 2970. And yeah, I've got the those, you're right. You hit those brakes and it there's no easing in on those brakes. It just can't do it. All right. Okay, 5,000 fuel, 9,500 fuel. And I feel elevation look right with the altimeter, so that checks out. And we are taxiing to 2-3 right. Just clear that turn again. And now I am running traffic global, and maybe one day they'll get to the point where they'll add the GA traffic so that I won't be so all alone in the GA areas of airports. I've got plenty of AI traffic at the gates, but I am at the GA, and let me engage these claws and just show you RDU. So this is RDU, and this actually is the airport as it look in real life. This and So RDU actually has two terminals. Has the Terminal B and Terminal A. Terminal A is actually the original terminal, much smaller than B, and right now it's out of service because it's actually under construction. Okay, so icing is not going to be an issue today, so we don't have to worry about that. Um, we did turn on our taxi lights, so we're good to go there. And let's see, and this fuel pump it looks like it's on standby, which is where we want it. Okay, and I actually am taxiing without actually talking to tower. because I forgot. But just pretend that I made that call. Um, I actually, well, you don't have to pretend. I actually use telepathy to get the message to them. All right, so this is runway 23 left. Yep, 23 left, which is where what we wanted. And tower is 119.3. Yep, which is already dialed in. How about that? Must be from a previous flight. Okay, somebody's at my door, so um, excuse me, and I'll be right back. Set the brakes. Okay, sorry about that. Uh, Technically, I am under quarantine. I developed a headache and a fever um, about 6 or 7 days ago that lasted a couple of days. So I actually went and got a a COVID-19 test, and I am waiting for the results to come back. I expect them to come back any day, and I am pretty sure that I am negative because um, all the symptoms went away, and I think I just had some other bug. Um, and I am really waiting on these results because I really need to get out of the house and make some money. Of course, I make money in the house too. I do IT work, but I make more money out of the house. um, okay, so where are we? We are um, about to make our call to Raleigh Tower, and my tail number is 244 Kilo Delta. Okay, Raleigh Tower, Kodiak 244 Kilo Delta is holding runway 23 left, departing to the southeast. Departing southwest, and we do have, I think it was Kilo. I hope it was Kilo.
Raleigh-Durham INTL information Zulu.
Zulu. Clear for takeoff, runway 23 left, and you're right, it is Zulu. Kodiak 244 Kilo Delta. All right. So flight instruments go to normal, wing flaps go to 20%, and the Kodiak generally always take out off with two notches of flaps. Um, of course, you can do no flap if your runway is long enough, which it is, but we want to do it the way that they suggest. Okay, before takeoff, inertia real levers locked. All seatbelts are locked. Flight controls are free and correct. Flight instruments check. Auxiliary pump comes on, and it is firewalls firewall shutoff valve, which we just learned. We got two of them, one here and one here. They're off. Um, Field quantity check. And I have not checked. Yeah, I did check the field quantity on pre-flight, and field quantity is looking good. Uh, yep, yep. Wing flaps set for takeoff. Ailerons and trims are. Now, I should have did the before check off before I pulled onto the runway, but that's okay. I got it like that. Okay. Wing flaps, ailerons, and trim. Let's see, that should be in here somewhere. Let's see, ailerons and trim. I need to get this guy up to take off. Okay, and everything is good. Power set for takeoff. Annunciators. Oh man, I still got a bunch of stuff on my cast, don't I? Generators says they're fill. Come on. Voltage. Let's see. Now, why is that? Alternator fill, low voltage. Auxiliary pump is on. Auxiliary bus is on. Starter is on. Okay. My bad. Okay. And so having starter on causes all of that to show up. How about that? Okay, ignition. Auxiliary pump is on and auxiliary bus is on. So I'm gonna turn the auxiliary bus off, and it specifically asked me to turn on the auxiliary fuel pump. Okay, so wing flaps are set, ailerons, engine inlet, um, engine inlet. I'm not sure what that is, but I only need to check it on the first flight of the day. Power lever goes at 300 foot pressure, check voltage, and then over speed. So let's see. So power lever goes to 300, and I wonder if they mean torque. Yeah, 300 foot pounds, and that's what they mean because it says 300 foot pounds. Okay, and then check for 26 on the voltage. I've got 28, so I'm good. And I'm sure that the 26 is, yeah, it does say minimal. Okay, engines, check. Okay, governor overspeed, check. Okay, don't know how to check that. Governor overspeed. Um, okay, power lever comes back to idle. Quadrant friction lock adjusts as necessary. Okay, so that would be my SciTech. My SciTech yoke does not have friction a friction um, yoke. Okay, and all right. So I already got my takeoff clearance. Okay, takeoff, normal takeoff. Okay, elevator trim, announcer check, rotate at 65 and climb out between 85 and 95. All right, and we're on our takeoff roll now. Normally I wouldn't be so close up on the dash, but I need to be able to read stuff. Rotate. Whoa. Didn't have to rotate so hard. hold that. I must have, yeah, I do have some wind, don't I? Okay, and then climb out at 85 to 95. Whoa. Okay, so I'm at 95, and I think that climb out speed is flaps up. So let's get down into climb range. Okay, still having to find that magic spot for that climb. And does anything ever tell me to turn my auxiliary pump off? Okay, 9.5. All right, that's my climb altitude right here. This is my climb altitude. Trim it for this. Look, Mom, no hands. Okay, and I took off on 2.3, and now I'm flying a course of 2.5. So I didn't hold my runway heading. Okay, and we are going to what, Charlotte? So I need a pretty good, that's a pretty good distance for this aircraft. So let's get down here to vertical speed, and we are what, somewhere around 14 on the climb out. No, 13. We leave it at 13. Okay, and we'll go ahead on and engage the navigation and look at our flight plan and activate that leg. Okay, so it's starting to turn. Let's zoom in on our um, map here. Make sure that we are tracking our intercept line, and according to my flight, let's see, I am not feeling what I'm seeing here. Man, my vertical speed just went. Okay, all right, let's turn ahead now and get control of the airplane. For me, okay, and then we do know that Charlotte's going to be to the southwest. So let's move our head and bug southwest in that general direction. Where the heck is the head and bug? It's over here. Okay, so the airplane did turn southwest, so apparently it is tracking what it needs to track, and my V speed is set way up to 1600. Let's bring it down, get that 95, and let's bring it back up. And 9500 is good for me. So um, Let's say, okay, this guy never turned on. Aha. Um, okay, there's my GPS. And trim -14 on the vertical speed. That won't work. And we'll just make it a 500-foot ascent for the moment while we work on dialing in our altitude. Gotta figure out how to do that. Uh, let's see, vertical speed, altitude, and I want to dial it in. Okay, here's my altitude button. There's the big one, wrong way, 9,000, and we're going to do VFR, which is what we're doing, 95. And now, how do we arm it? Okay, out select. Okay, and now we can increase our vertical speed to whatever we want, and it should capture it. All right, so heading AP, yaw dampers on, head, want nav, GPS, okay. GPS, AP, yaw damper is on, vertical speed ascending at 900 feet per minute, and we're going to capture 9,500. All right, so, um, and the aircraft has let me know that the pitot heat is off. My outside temperature at this point is 4 degrees, so I should be okay without it, but why take the chance, right? And lose instruments. So we'll turn them both on. Ah, engine inlet bypass. We found it. When I was going through the checklist, a couple times I saw engine engine inlet as required, and I did not know where that was, and I still don't know what it is. But um, system check. Okay, got it. All right. So we VFR, so we need to be looking out the window. Okay. And we were going to zoom in to this map, and I'm looking for the range button. Okay, there's the range button. Uh, every aircraft that I fly have different buttons, so it can be tough keeping up with which button does what. All right, so here's my magenta line here. Here's my aircraft, so I went way to the south, and so I am flying an intercept to that line. Now, this aircraft, excuse me, uh, once you're in cruise, then, or at some point, I'm not sure whether you do it in climb or cruise, but I do know you pull the RPMs back to 2200, and in my case, I'm actually increasing it to 2200. Okay, so I am finally at a point where I am not behind the aircraft, and I can actually kind of look out of the window and enjoy the the scenery running by. Now, I should have the ability to see traffic. Okay, system, and let me go over here. And this is as much about learning as it is anything. Okay, so descending fuel, I'm not sure what these mean. DEC, could that be decrease fuel, increase fuel, reset fuel? Let's do reset fuel. um, I would never have clicked it if I had known that they was actually affecting my fuel system. All right, so all right, so all my system show me right now is my fuel status, and it does show me my electrical status too. Generated A. All right, okay, map, and I do have traffic. Okay, I see my traffic. So these um, diamonds, these black diamonds, are traffic, and let's see. So this guy, he's within, I say he's about 20, let's say I got 20-mile look ahead turned on. So I would say he's probably about 10 miles out. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to be able to see him at 10 miles. And he's moving south, so he's not a factor. Okay, so guys, this is the Kodiak Quest. And looks like I never turned off my lights. Okay, but we can fix that this way. All right, short field takeoff, maximum performance cruise, non-emergency, and en route cruise. Okay, auxiliary pump goes to standby. All right, PTAT and static heat comes on when outdoor outside air temperature is 4 degrees Celsius or less, and we are at 1 degree Celsius, and our heaters are on. Our static and pitot heat, um, engine inlet as required, airspeed 110 to 120 knots, and we are 140 knots indicated. Uh, Now, I did not adjust my prop, so let's pull that prop back. Let's see, an NP. Um, I guess the P stand for prop. What could that N stand for? Um, but we're going to pull it back to we're going to pull it back to what, 7. Well, we're going to pull it back, and think I'm okay. I'm intercepting my my line, so I'm turning on course finally. All right, and we want to get our RPMs back up to 2000. So I am going forward on the prop. Well, let's see, I'm not sure. Yeah, propeller between 2000 and 2200. But if I don't want to, let's see. So I need to push that prop up a little bit. And what I'm looking for is that 2040. I want to get that right at 2000. So I am pulling back on the prop and that's set. Okay. And what that gives me is I'm getting 155, 156 and a half, 156 indicated. Excuse me. And which, and I got 152 over the ground. So apparently I got a headwind. I can actually check that, but let me get through my checklist first. Now, my airspeed should be between 120, 10 and 120 knots. And I'm showing 156 knots. So something is astray. Okay, 140 Celsius is the recommended ITT. So let's pour the let's get that down to about 140. Okay, so I got 140 on the ITT, 200 on the 2000 on the prop, and 98 on the NG, 1509 on the torque, and I got 155 indicated. So I'm not sure why I am about 30 knots over what the manual say I should be on my indicated airspeed. I got 155 indicated, and at these power settings, I should be between 110 and 120. Okay, um, and that's en route. Now that may have something to do. Well, no, I was going to say that may have something to do with my altitude, but this is an unpressurized vehicle, which means that I can only climb without oxygen as high as about 12,000 feet to be safe. Anything over that can be quite dangerous in this aircraft. But hey, if I can get 155 out of it indicated, I'll take it. Okay, so I mentioned that I got 155 indicated and 154 over the ground, so that means I should have a headwind, and I said I was going to check that after I finished that part of the checklist, and I'm finished, so let's check. So we can actually turn this guy off, and if we go to, I think it's PFD is what I want, then turn winds on, and option 1 tells me that I think I got a 25 knot um, headwind and a 21 knot crosswind. Now, interpolated, that gives me a 32 knot quartering, um, a 32 knot quartering headwind. and I get the same information on option three, except for it tells me um, what option one and option two tells me. So let's leave it on option three. And I never did set my transponder. So, shucks, I hit the wrong button. And, cool, hitting it again took it back to what it was. I was afraid I was going to have to reset that manually. Okay, so I guess I'm not the only one who's ever done that, or for whatever reason. And my transponder is going to be the X something, the X, I can't read that. When your eyes are as young as mine, then you um, have to zoom in real closely on stuff to read it. The XPDR. And I know that that's my transponder, but I never ever have looked to see what XPDR actually stand for. So let's go ahead and turn that on altitude and back. Um, I don't. I know that leaving RDU, which is a Class C, would have got a squawk code and flight following and vectors out of the airspace because I've flown out of the airspace with other pilots in real life, and I have done some real life touch and goes at RDU. But that was so my touch and goes was so long ago. Let's see. I need to get back out so I can see out the window. And let's look for traffic on this guy here. I see some traffic behind me out a ways. And it's so cool to have TCAS working on these glass displays. Um, of course, you still want to rely on your eyeballs, especially when you fly VFR, because the whole point of flying VFR is to rely on your eyeballs. Um, let's see, but I do want to zoom in a little bit. I think I zoomed out. No, that's out. 7.5, 12. Yeah, so let's zoom in to 5 miles. Because anything outside of any traffic outside of 5 miles, I'm not going to see out the window. The the I can put it this way: on a 12,000-foot runway, if I'm at one end of the runway and there's a big jet at the other end of the runway, then I can hardly see it if I'm sitting at this perspective in X-plane. To see that traffic and to know that it's traffic, I really have to zoom to the front like so. So, and that's only 12,000 foot. That's only about a mile and 3/4. Um, so, so being able to see traffic um, 5 and 6 miles out is actually a stretch. But I usually can, if I know I've got traffic in my vicinity, I usually can zoom and then look for the traffic, which was one of the mistakes that I was making when I was flying Pilot Edge, because when they would tell me traffic, I would go to looking and not realizing that just due to the nature of X-plane, I actually have to zoom to see that traffic, unless that traffic is within, 2 or 3 miles of me. And even still, I may not see it. All right, so we never did turn our lights off, and we have went through our our climb and cruise. Nothing that says uh, no reminders to check my lights on the checklist. So just have to remember to do it manually. So taxi lights um, comes off, and actually my taxi lights were on all the time. I never did turn my landing lights on. My strobe lights I never did turn on, so now I got my lights in the right configuration. I got beacon light on, nav light, and strobe light. Now, when I was flying, my instructor used to tell me that having your nav lights on in the daytime, um, there is really no need, because if somebody's close enough to see your nav lights, then chances are you've already had a bad day with them. So I'm gonna kill the nav lights, and we have just reached Liberty, and we are flying almost due west towards the California coastline. Now, so I have watched a great number of Kodiak videos from the dealer, and it's funny that one of the ways that they like to advertise the Kodiak uh, is for people who live on, say, out in the boonies, for the lack of a better word, who has a grass runway, so you can get the Kodiak. You can take the Kodiak from your house to the airport, transfer from your Kodiak to your corporate jet. Then you can take the flight across the country, or across the pond. How about that? Um, one of the words that one of these aircraft salesmen use is for our oh for the high net worth customer. Well, that won't be me. But in another life, I would have liked to been that guy who could sit behind, who could sit in this office in real life and fly that high net worth customer to his corporate jet, or fly his corporate jet across the country or across the pond, whichever the case may be. Okay, well, maybe I am selling myself short. Why not be that high net worth person if if I'm dreaming? But it is what it is, and if um, if life is kind to me, then one day I still may get my PPL. Okay, so we're in cruise, so it's time to just run through a little systems check here. Um, Torque 1540, ITT 741. We're 1 degrees over where we should be, but we're okay there. RPMs 2000 and NG 98.5. Fuel flow is 49 gallons per hour. Oil pressure is 95 psi, and oil temperature is 54 degrees Celsius. Amps are 66.7, and we got a voltage draw of 28. Um, uh, we're holding at 28 volts. Flaps are up. Fuel quantity looks good for our flight, and ailerons and elevation and rudder are all trimmed within parameters. Okay, and this guy here is showing me what's there, but I actually don't need it there to take up the real estate and to add to the clutter. So let's turn them off. Now he should be on the PDF, right? Um, nope, it's not on PDF. Let's see now, what would this guy be on? PDF, QBS, OBS. That's what that is. CDI, DME, transponder, ident, time reference, nearest airport. And let's go back to PDF. Let's hit this guy. Nope. DME, that's going to turn that on and off. And BRG1, okay, that's just more navigational information. BRG2 that I don't even have programmed. Alt unit. Um, and I want my barometer in inches back. And standard barometer, nope. Okay, and back. So, yeah. Now I know I've played with with the PDF on some of the other aircraft, and I have been able to turn this guy on and off. Insert. Okay, maybe that's it. All right, traffic. See, declutter. Well, at least I can declutter it, right? Traffic, topo, terrain, next ride. Off. There it is. Got it. All right. So, so let's turn traffic on and declutter everything except for traffic. So if it was on, if I were to keep it on, then the only thing that I would want to see in it is traffic, and that's at a 10 mile. So that's 10 miles. Yeah, yeah. So if now if from this point to this point represent 10 miles, then from this point to this point ought to represent 5 miles if I'm reading this correctly. In which case, if traffic is within this window, then that ought to tell me that traffic is within 5 miles of my aircraft. And unless it's above me or below me, I ought to be able to see it. So, if if traffic, if I'm at 95 and traffic shows up at, say, 30, flight level 35, then the distance ought to be, let's see, if I'm at 95 and he shows up at flight level 35, then I actually would be able to see him. I mean, he actually would be within 5 miles of me, but hopefully I wouldn't be able to see him because he would be no factor. And I'm thinking that the radar system is smart enough to know that. All right, so I do have these steam gauges, and I never did set the altimeter on this guy. Let's see if I can get it set. Um, 79, I think it was 70. Okay, and is there a hard switch, something that will, what if I had a horse on this aircraft, or GSU, then what I could theoretically do is transfer the autopilot to the steam gauges, if I were having problems with the electronic, or the EFIS system, the electronic flight instrument system. Okay, so wait a minute, oxygen. Hmm, interesting. If you recall, I said that this aircraft was not pressurized, and perhaps it is. I guess it is. Um, I guess you can get pressurization as an option on these guys. And let's see what this placard says. Maximum torque for takeoff. When the inertia separator. Okay, and that's a good thing to notice because I don't recall operating or finding the inertia separator. So let's look and see if we see that guy. Okay, so okay, here's my overspeed governor. All right, so I found that. That came up in my checklist, and I didn't know where to look for it, and I didn't find it, so I kind of glossed over the stuff that I couldn't find, and so that's good to know. Now that I know where it is, then I can incorporate it in the checklist. But what I'm looking for right now is the inertia separator. And I believe the engine inlet bypass and the inertia separator could could very well be the same thing. If that is the case, then leave it in the comments. Um, okay, so let's go back up here to this placard. So, maximum torque for takeoff 2200 RPMs. And if the outside air temperature is between 10 and 15, well, if it's closer to 10, then I want to use these numbers. If it's closer to 15, I want to use these numbers. Okay, and SL would be sea level. So, so these numbers here would be MSL. And so if I'm at, um, so this chart doesn't come into effect or doesn't come into um, play unless I'm above 1,000 MSL or 1,000 feet sea level. But that can't be, yeah, that can't be right. I was going to say that can't be right because you can't be 10,000 feet MSL, but very easily, just not in this neck of the woods. Okay, so um, all right, and minimum NG start 14%. So I don't want to introduce fuel until I get to at least 14% on the NG, which is the exhaust gas temperature. Torque limits for climb. Okay, torque limits is 2200. Now I'm having trouble. Torque limits 2200 RPM and 2000 RPM. Okay, and if I've got, I guess it depends on how much weight I've got on board. So if I'm over for takeoff, if I'm over 17,000, 1,700, 1,790 foot-pounds, then I want to limit my torque to 2,000, right? And if I'm over, um, let's see, now, okay. So I'm thinking this is up to climbing cruise. Well, let's see. Okay. Okay. All right. I think I understand it now. If my torque is set to 2200, then I want to keep, hmm, okay, so I'm making my turn. I'm completing my turn on Majestic as we speak. Um, no traffic to be concerned about. Okay, so I'm trying to understand this guy here. Okay, if my RPMs is 2200, then I want to keep my torque no higher than 1670 for climbing cruise. Okay, which I'm certainly in that range right now. And for takeoff, no higher than 1790. Okay, so that's the way that's read. if my torque is 2,000 on takeoff, then I don't want my, if my RPMs is 2,000 on takeoff, then I don't want my torque to exceed 1970. And likewise with the cruise and climb. Okay, so these placards actually do mean something. So anybody who think they can get in this aircraft and firewall it, you can, but your $500,000 engine won't hold up very long. The thing about simming is that's not a that's not really a concern. Okay, so I'm seeing traffic. I got traffic out there somewhere. There it is, right there. See that guy there? And he's right here and right here. But he's above me, so we good. And he's behind me now. Let's see if we can't get him out of this view. I'm not even sure that traffic shows up in this view. I really don't think it does. Yeah, I don't think it does because I've not been able to see traffic in that view before. But then again, I waited so long to look that he may have just been out of range, out of sight range. So I had ortho. I had I had towels for ortho set, uh, and there's an airport down there. I hadn't really been following along on the sectional, so I'm not sure what airport that is. Let me start for flight, and maybe I can determine what airport that is. And let's see. Okay, and it's funny that when you start these things, then you always have a new email to delete. Uh, Waited over 30 minutes at Petco's phone listening to music Zach before I gave up and realized that they just had not updated their website. It seemed like they were open and all you had to do was make an appointment. Um, CBS streams and okay, and so yeah, I think this is a towel. Um, I think I got towels. I think I got a towel for Charlotte. Um, I usually try to put the towels in the areas in which I fly the most. Okay, so the airport that we just flew over was Salisbury, and we should have Kannapolis coming up off for our passenger wing. Um, should be down there somewhere. Let's look out the window and it ought to be over here somewhere. That's Lake Norman. Uh, the airport is actually on this side, opposite the lake. And that would be Kannapolis. Should be somewhere up in there, maybe up in um, it should be maybe up in here somewhere. I think I see it right here. Yep, so there's Kannapolis. And actually, guys, we are in the Bravo. And so let's start a descent. Now, the Bravo, if I want to come in up under the shelf, then I would have needed to come in under 6,000. Um, and I'm VFR, and I haven't been in contact with ATC. So technically, I'm in violation of the Bravo. And Charlotte is down there somewhere. So let's get down. Dun 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 dun. Get on down. All right. So vertical speed. And let's see, I guess we have to do altitude first. Let's bring that, let's make that guy 1500. I think the airport is at 900. Okay, it's 1300, but all right, now let's try to get down. And down she comes. And we'll do 1,000. That guy doesn't look like me. All right. So I'm coming up on this airport way too fast. And what I want to do at this point is, let's see if we can see the airport. I think the airport is before that river. So the Bravo has a range of 30 miles. And I'm about halfway, so I'm a little bit too close to see the airport, but I am going to need to do a 360 to come on down. I want to drop some speed. So I want to go to heading, and I do a left 360. So heading, and we'll use this one here. So I was trying to not have to roll this thing with my, guess I am gonna have to roll it. So I am doing a 360 to dun 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 dun, get on down. Normally I would just do a kamikaze. Okay, so what's the ADAs in Charlotte so we can get our field um, elevation set. Let's go back to nav here on this autopilot, and let's put the ADAS in. What did I say? I want 121. 121, 15.
Charlotte Douglas INTL information Alpha. 2000 Zulu weather. Wind 320 at 6 gusts 11. Visibility more than 10.
So three
Sky
six is in
conditions
use.
9500 view. Temperature 21. Dew point 1. Altimeter 2978. Arriving
2978.
runways 36 right. 36 left. 36 center. Departing runways 36 right. 36 center. Advise on initial contact you have Alpha.
Alpha. Okay, so I'm still at 5,000 and
Charlotte Douglas INTL information Alpha. 2000 Zulu weather.
so
Wind
let's
320 at
get our
6 gusts
procedure
11.
loaded here.
Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 9500 view. Temperature 21.
Select
Dew point
approach
1. Altimeter 2978. Arriving runways 36 right. 36 left. 36 center.
and 36 is what I want, and 36 right, and let's see, the GPS nav is available. Let's see, let's scroll this guy down. So we'll do this approach here. Proceed. So enter and HETCOM. We'll do vectors. Minimums are going to be off, and we'll just go ahead and load that. And we get vectored on down to, oh man, it's getting choppy down here. So we'll get vectored on down to jump into our GPS here. And let's see, so let's set this heading guy to 2150. And we'll fly heading 150 right now. There's the airport. And let's not go down to 1300. Let's level off at 25. Okay, so out. There we go. All right, and then that's set to capture. And let's just make sure that captures. I think it is because it's coming up. Nose is coming up slowly but surely. Did you see that? Man, my frame rate is going down all the way down to like 4. I really am going to have to do something about my frame rate. I cannot do VATSIM, and while Pilot Edge doesn't complain, they really don't like um, pilots who fly on their network with these poor, lousy frame rates, which I do. All right, let's turn the head in 180. And I should be parallel to the runway. Got traffic off my quarter and tail. Now I see numbers. I'm not sure what these numbers mean. Um, is that their speed or height or just what? And it would be helpful to know what those numbers mean. Okay, we'll fly for about another minute to the south and then we'll make a turn to the west and hopefully load our procedure. and let the GPS take us in. And I'll be the first to tell you I struggle with these procedures. I think I'm getting blown a little off, but that's okay. So let's pick a spot here. Once we get to what this road here, we'll make a turn. And let's watch out for traffic. So I got traffic out there somewhere. He should be over here. He's at 33. I'm not sure. Thought I could pop through that, but I guess I can't. So he should be. I don't see any contrails, so maybe that. I'm not sure what, but uh, I know I missed my turn, but I'm looking for that traffic, and this would give me an opportunity to learn. And I just don't see him. Okay, so let's make this turn to the west, 270. Okay, all right, landing lights come on. Inertia separator needs to come on. Um, okay, which is engine inlet bypass. I think that's the inertia separator on this aircraft. Prop governor does not come into play. Landing lights are on. No gear to be concerned about. And I didn't think this aircraft had oxygen, but it does. Um, must be optional because a lot of the Kodiaks in real life don't come with the oxygen package. Okay, let's see. What else we got? Let's pull out our trusty checklist here. And um, outside air temperature is 12 degrees, so we don't need static heat. Altimeter is set. CDI is set appropriately. Power as, okay, that's on descent. Okay, before landing, fuel valve selectors left and right are on. Auxiliary pump needs to come on. And auxiliary fuel pump. Where did you go? Here you are, right here. All right. Firewall things should be pushed in, which they are. Um, Fuel condition lever needs to go to high idle, which it is, and prop goes to max. Okay, wing flaps as desired. Landing lights and yaw damper needs to come off. Let's see, yaw damper, and I don't see yaw damp. I don't think this aircraft has a, okay, the yaw damper must be here and it needs to go off. All right, yaw damper is off because I had it on auto. Okay, and let's make this turn to the north. Heading, where are you? All right, and let's do approach. Well, all right, let's not do approach. We are actually gonna hand fly this guy in. And 118.1. Charlotte Tower, Kodiak 244 Kilo Delta is um, inbound for runway 23 right, requesting full stop. And we've got Alpha. Okay, so I am not lined up and I didn't trust the approach to do the right thing, so I'm gonna turn approach back on if I can find it. Approach, and that may be why it was trying to turn me to the right, which I thought I was overshooting the runway, but it turns out that I was not overshooting the runway. So all right, so I see that traffic, and let's look out, make sure that we're not cutting in the path of landing traffic. Okay, so we are good. And looks like it's flying us to that fix. There's a fix here called, I don't see the name of it on this sectional, at least not on the fourth flight sectional. But if it don't turn me right now, then I'm gonna make my turn manually. Hmm. All right, turn manually. and just what I thought, way overshot this dig on. Let's see, I'm supposed to be, oh, you know what? Flight plan, I should have done this procedure. Shoot, clear. And all right, let's just hand fly this guy in because I am too close and too high. All right, so let's kill our altitude and point that nose down and get lined up here. Okay, landing lights are on. Yaw damper is off. Mixture and prop 4. Got 10 degrees of flaps in. Normal approach, we want 85 knots. With one about 95 with these flaps in, but I'm actually on a hard descent here, so I'm gonna slip it just a little bit. So I got little bit of slip in, so I can lower the nose even more, because I want to dun 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 get on down. Okay, I got a full slip in now. And power back a little bit.
Final runway 36 right.
Okay, so I'm right at my V speed now for approach, just slightly above it. All right, picking up my glide slope now. So I'm gonna take my slip out,
500.
give it some more flaps, and I want 80. I want 80. No, I want I don't want 80 just yet. Yeah, I do want 80. I want 80 with 4 flaps, and if I can hold it right there, then maybe I can butter this landing, trim it. I'm a little bit high. There's my 80. There's my slope. Raise that nose just a touch. And boy, my frame rate is taking a beating. If it looked like I'm in slow motion, it's because I am. All right, transition the eyes to the end of the runway and transition the nose along with it. Hold that center line. And I missed my touchdown point. Hold that center line. Pull that power out. Yeah, this frame rate is just sinful. I mean, who couldn't butt a touchdown in slow motion? You know. Okay. Charlotte Tower, Kodiak 244 Kilo Delta. It's clear the runway. Taxiing to parking. So I miss stopping and cleaning up, but I'm also upset about this 15 frames per second frame rate. All right, let's shut down. Okay, so let's get a checklist out. After landing, wings up, flaps up, airspeed, condition level, low idle, auxiliary fuel pump comes off. Strobe lights can come off. Landing lights and taxi lights can come off. Pitot heaters can come off. And I don't want the NG to fall below 52%. Keep that in mind. Okay, shutdown parking brake is set. Environmental control systems, which I never found on this aircraft. I know it's got to have some heater buttons somewhere, but I really hadn't searched. Maybe um, it's got to be some way to turn heat on. Um, I have to look in the RIL. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull up the RIL Kodiak, see where the heater's at. Okay, auxiliary bus switch off. Okay, power lever idle, prop control lever feather, generators off, alternator off, fuel condition lever cut off, lights, oxygen control switch goes off if it's on. And I didn't think this guy had oxygen, but it does, but it's off. And light switches, that's only the beacon that's left. Fuel selectors go off. And I wish I'd have looked at how much gas I had before I, well, I still got the master on, so I can still see how much gas I got. Okay, so I used, I think I had a half a tank, and now I got just under a quarter. Um, okay, okay, avionics master goes off. Ah, wrong master, avionics master. Okay, so let's do that again. Um, avionics master, that would be this guy. And master, now master. And then charts, tie downs, and all that good stuff. All right. So we'll turn all that good stuff on. All covers can go on, tie downs can go on, and open the doors, get out, and close the doors. All right. And let's open the doors again. See what this guy look like with them open. Ah, wow. Got one, two, got five doors. Two, no, I got four doors. Or maybe five if I count the one on the other side. On the other side of the column, I think I can see straight through there. Yep, five doors. Okay, let's close these doors. And that does it for this flight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. And until we do the next one, Kodiak, low and slow. And I thought I had my pod on. I thought I had a pregnant. Oh man, I must have gave birth while I was in the air. Not me, but the airplane. I thought I had the pod on, and I don't see it. Okay, there it is. Okay, so the pod is optional on these Kodiaks, and again, in my opinion, it doesn't with the weight bearing capability of it. It doesn't make sense to have it without the pod, unless you are just flying it to get from your home to the airport so you can take the corporate jet. Okay, so that's all for today. Remember, guys, a good pilot is always learning, and I don't have anybody on the channel to raid anybody. So